So your first mistake of the lesson happened here. We were turning left onto the A12. So we turned left at the traffic lights here. Now after turning left, the road becomes quite wide, and you actually asked me here, is this 2 lanes? I said, yeah, it's 2 lanes. So you started off in the left-hand lane, and then at some point about there, you switched to the right-hand lane. So you've come up to the next traffic light in the right-hand lane, and then this is where the mistake happened. You was in the right-hand lane here, and there's lots of cars behind you, and then there's another car next to you, another lane, and there's cars behind that lane, and we're all waiting at red light. Then when the light went green, you went forward and you tried to move there without realizing, without checking anything, without realizing you were just drifting into that lane. And then at this point I had to advise you to get back to the right hand lane, because the car on your left, they were coming right close up side by side with us almost, and you was just drifting out into their lane. So you should have been in the right hand lane, because that's the lane you started from. So at the traffic lights, there's only 2 lanes, left and right. If you're using the right hand lane, you need to go forward into the corresponding right hand lane, into this lane. And the car on the left, they will go into their corresponding lane, which is the left lane. Now this is a mistake I've seen you make quite often, where you don't realize what lane goes forward into what lane, especially at roundabouts. You need to continue into the same lane that you started out from. So if you started out from the middle lane of a roundabout, you can't go into the roundabout and suddenly enter into the right hand lane, because it's a busy junction and you're not checking it also. So it's an awareness thing as well. So you need to be aware of what lane you're in and what lane does that correspond forward into. Here I said at the end of the road, we're going to be turning right at the traffic lights. And then for some reason you went into this lane. So I had to tell you to come back to your lane. So that's the oncoming lane for cars coming the other way. We're not in a one-way road. So this would be a serious fault for trying to drive in the wrong lane. So we're driving down this tight, narrow road with oncoming cars, and you got a bit too close to the parked cars on your left. At one point, I had to take the steering wheel and move you away, so you'll see the camera will flicker. There. I had to take the steering wheel and move you out of the way of that parked car. Otherwise, the wing mirror would have clipped at the wing mirror. This would be a serious fault, something you'd fail for. Okay, so at this roundabout, I said we're taking the second exit, and it's going to be a right turn. Now, North Chingford is the right turn. It looks like it's straight ahead of you, but if you see the road where you're coming from here, and then you're turning this way. And now when you're facing this way, now left is Chingford Mount and right is North Chingford. Okay, so here the instruction was to turn right at the mini roundabout. You've come to the mini roundabout and you've not slowed down for the car that's coming from your right. Then I had to use the dual control and stop the car. So if you see the camera, I just had to do an emergency stop there because that car was way too close coming from your right. It came within a second of us stopping. If we didn't stop, that car could have crashed into us, and this would be a serious fault, something you'd fail for. The next mistake was turning right into a side road. You was in the wrong side of the road when you tried to turn. So we're going right into this road here. You have to go around these parked cars. You have to overtake them. But now you've got plenty of space to get back to your side, but you haven't. So he had to bring you back to your side, so then you could turn right safely in case somebody was coming out of that road and turning left towards you. Now this could be a serious fault. It could easily be a serious fault. If you're very, very lucky, the examiner might let you off, but with a minor fault, but I think it would be a serious fault. Okay, now a lot of Chingford, around the test centre, a lot of roads are now 20 miles per hour, like the one we're on, it's on the floor. A lot of the time you went over this, and this is the speedometer of the dash cam. It's not accurate, it's a bit under. It'll show you under what you're doing by 2 or 3 miles. So if it says 19, you're actually doing 21. Okay, so about 2 or 3 miles you're going to be over that speed. Now a lot of the time, not just this road, a lot of roads you were going a lot over 20 miles an hour. Now it's 23, 24, you're actually doing 26, 27. 26, you're actually doing 28, which is way too fast for this road. You would fail. If it's only for a second or two, the examiner might let you off. But if you, for a sustainable amount of time, and you're not slowing down, the examiner will give you a serious fault for going too fast. The next serious fault was turning right at this traffic light junction. Now this junction, you've made a fault here before in a previous lesson, and you're not the only one to ever make a fault on this junction. This junction, a lot of people make the same mistake you're making. Now, the reason that this mistake happens is because the view isn't great. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Right, so you know you need to wait in the middle for oncoming cars. So this car and all the cars behind it are turning that way. These are the oncoming cars. They may come straight ahead or they may turn. Either way they go, they have priority. Now the problem is, behind these cars, this car you can't see. So you can't really tell if there's a car coming or not. So you've got to be more careful. Now on this occasion, this silver color car, it's got no signal on, it's coming straight ahead. You just kept going forward and forward and forward until it got too close where I had to dual control and brake and stop you. Otherwise you could have hit that car. So the car's coming and I've just braked and stopped you there. You see the camera move. I don't know why you kept going for, the car was clearly coming towards you. We'll work on it. We'll work on this same junction next lesson. But have a look at the rest of the video and just see, you know, who has priority. Okay, now the next right turn is a very commonly used test route at Chingford. You went this way last lesson and you made a mistake. This time you did it correctly, so well done for that. So this time you turned into the right side before, last lesson you tried to turn earlier before the central reservation, the central island. All right, so this is good. All right, now this road is a very, very narrow road. You're getting way too close to the curb on the left, and then further down this road, there isn't any curb, it's a ditch on the left. You're nearly falling off the road. This is a mistake in your driving that's happening a lot. You're not looking in the left mirror enough to know how far you are on the left and how much. See here, there's a ditch. You nearly fell off. You almost, yeah, you kind of did fall into the ditch here, and then I had to tell you to go back out onto the road. You're not checking the left mirror enough to see what the boundary is, what the limit is. How much more further can you use on the left? You're not checking it. When a car is coming from ahead of you, you're so focused on this car that you're not looking in your left mirror to gauge how much space you have. So this is something you need to work on more. Okay, now this time we're driving on a 20-mile-per-hour road, and your speed is around about 20, so you're fine. But then the speed changes to 30 miles per hour. I'll pause it when it does change. So you see here, it's telling you it's 30 miles per hour now, these signs. You should definitely see this one. But for a long period here, you've continued doing 20 miles per hour or thereabouts. I don't think you've seen that sign. Now this will be a minor fault in my opinion, but it's not a good look. The examiner will realize you've not seen a 30 mile per hour sign. If you do the same mistake at just one more time, I reckon it would be a serious fault in the test. So you're still doing near enough, 15, 16. It's a bit inaccurate by 2 or 3 miles, so you're doing about 20. And then eventually I had to tell you, this road is 30. And then you start picking speed up, but still you're doing about 17, 18, around about 20. This is a long period to go 10 miles under the speed limit. When you drive slower than the speed, people get annoyed behind you and they try to overtake you, and it's dangerous when they try and overtake you for them and for other cars, and the cause of the danger is you driving slowly. So you're still doing about 17, 18, 19, 20. And then I think I've told you by this point, and then now your speed is going to start to pick up. At this traffic light, we're just going to follow ahead. So we've got some parked cars, this one especially. We need to go around this one. Now this is the opportunity to come back to the left lane behind that grey colour van. When you move on, then I would try and get back to the left lane as soon as possible. But what you've done is you've continued in the right hand lane, and then you've joined the queue for a right turn here. So it's going to cause you more aggravation on the test, because at some point you'll have to try and come back to the left lane, and it's going to be difficult. So try to just keep in your normal driving position, back to the left lane wherever possible. So going the wrong way on the test is not a fault, but in this occasion, because you've got such a long time to be able to get back to the left lane, the examiner may encourage you to come back to the left lane. And then you're going to have a problem coming back to the left lane when there's so many other vehicles who are already correctly positioned. Especially when the queue is this long for turning right, the examiner will not, I think they will not allow you to turn right. They'll kind of encourage you to come back to the left lane to keep on track on the test route. It's only if you go the wrong way at the last moment, and then the examiner doesn't have enough time to tell you to go the correct way, they will let you go the wrong way. But in this occasion, they've got so much time to encourage you to get back on track. They will encourage you. They'll say, we're going straight here, actually, we're going straight, please, something like that, and then you'll end up having to change back to the left lane, and then it's going to cause you more aggravation by not being in the normal driving position from the start. And now on this road, we're approaching a speed camera, and your speed is about, if it says 31 here, you're actually doing 32, 33. And the speed camera is just there, that yellow box. Now as you get closer to it, you actually increase your speed. So you see, saying 32, you're actually doing 34. And then I had to brake to stop you from getting flashed and getting 3 points here. So be careful of the speed cameras. If you don't spot the yellow box on the top, on the floor, you'll have the little markings. I'll show you what it looks like. Where is it? If you don't see that yellow box on the floor, see these little dashed lines? It means that you're driving through a speed camera zone. Now here, the instruction I've given is to take the next road on your left. So we're in this lane. This is a bus lane. This thick white line marks a bus lane. So what you've got to do is move into the left lane when the bus lane ends, is here where the thick line ends, then prepare for a left turn. So at this point, you should already be checking your left mirror to see if there's anybody driving beside you on the left in the bus lane. And then you should be planning to come to the left lane after this white line ends here. But as you've come, you've not been able to change lanes and then take the left turn. I think it all just happened too fast and you couldn't do it. So we had to take the next left turn, which also didn't happen properly. I'll just show you now. Okay, so the next left turn is just further down the road. So again, we've got a bus lane here. So what you got to do is wait for the bus lane to end. It ends over there, then move into the left lane so you can take a left turn. But on this occasion, you've tried to go into the bus lane. So here, you try to go in now. This is way too early. If there's any cameras there, it'll pick your number plate up and it'll give you a fine. And then I've had to ask you to wait for this line to end, then come into the left lane after the bus lane. So the road marking for the bus lane is that thick white line. Okay, so wait for it to end before you come to the left lane for left turns. Okay, now the next mistake happened. We were turning right into this road and it happened down that road. So the road is double parked. There's cars parked up on both sides of the road. There's only enough space for one car to drive through. So if you've got a car coming the opposite way, you're going to have to wait and let it through. Firstly, because we've just turned into the road and we've just joined the road, so we wouldn't have priority of anybody who's already coming the other way. And now secondly, you can see it's a big red van coming. There's no way we're going to be able to fit or there's not really a case for you to be able to say, okay, let me go past the first couple of parked cars and then tuck into a space on the left, because we can't see if there is a space on the left. So you can't take a risk. So you've tried to go, I've stopped you. The red van's coming. It's not worth the risk of trying to go past these cars and then pull into a gap if there is one. So I made you wait here.